It is official that the pound-for-pound king, Terrence Bud Crawford, has agreed in principle to face off against the 4-division world champion, Mexican superstar, first ballot Hall of Famer, Saul Canelo Alvarez. So Canelo Alvarez has agreed. Terrence Crawford, we knew he was going to agree. And they're working out the details to showcase their talents. Riyadh season, Cinco de Mayo weekend in May.
Hate me, but I think it's a 50-50 fight.
Hell of a fight.
Hate me, but I think it's a 50-50 fight. It's really, really hard for me to see Canelo losing to Crawford. But it's also, there's things that I can see that Crawford is so good at.
Yeah.
That it's like, I can't see him not being able to be sharp and do that round after round, man.
The potential fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terrence Crawford has fans buzzing, but the weight difference is a big concern. Canelo's power at super middleweight could be a significant advantage, while Crawford's skills at welterweight are top-notch. Expert Edgar Berlanga believes Crawford's technique could give him a shot, but moving up in weight to face Canelo might be too much of a challenge. The fight would test if Crawford's skills can overcome Canelo's size and strength.
You know, anything can happen in boxing, you know what I'm saying? And Terrence Crawford is a legend. He's great. He's a great fighter. The only thing I see that I favor Canelo is that, you know, his weight.
Yeah.
And that he's more bigger. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing. But as far as skill set wise, IQ, I feel like Crawford can match anybody and probably do way better. You know what I'm saying? But you know, Crawford is a legend, bro.
Yeah.
You know, and like I said, you can't.
Andre Rozier, a well-known boxing trainer, has raised concerns about Terrence Crawford moving up to face Canelo Alvarez. While Crawford has been dominant at welterweight, Rozier feels that the weight jump to fight Canelo could be too much of a challenge. Canelo's size and power, he argues, could prove difficult for Crawford to overcome, despite his superior boxing skills.
The only thing he could possibly do at this point to regain that status is to beat someone of note in another weight class. And
Rozier believes that moving up to 154 pounds could be a feasible option for Crawford, but he's skeptical about his chances if he jumps straight into a fight with Canelo. He views it as a risky move, suggesting that Crawford may need more time to adjust to the higher weight before facing someone as powerful as Canelo.
I think 54 is going to be enough for him. Him going up to fighting, quote unquote, if it should happen, Canelo, I don't see that ending well. It's just too much and too far to go. But that's what it would take.
Rozier's warning highlights the immense challenge Crawford would face against Canelo. Given the weight difference and Canelo's power, the key question now is whether Crawford is pushing his limits by moving up in weight, or if his skill and adaptability could lead to another surprise victory, proving his critics wrong. Canelo Alvarez has sparked excitement by discussing the possibility of facing Terrence Crawford. In the ring, the idea of these two elite fighters squaring off has captured the attention of boxing fans worldwide, with many eagerly awaiting what could become a historic clash between two of the sport's best.
And yes, it is official that the pound-for-pound king, 4-division world champion, 2-division undisputed world champion, and reigning WBA junior middleweight world champion, superstar boxer, Terrence Bud Crawford, future first ballot Hall of Famer, undefeated, 41 wins, no loss, no draw, 31 big wins by way of knockout, 37 years of age, 5'8" with a 74-inch arm reach, has agreed in principle. We knew he was going to agree to face off against the 4-division world champion, Mexican superstar, first ballot Hall of Famer, former undisputed super middleweight world champion, and reigning unified super middleweight world champion, Saul Canelo Alvarez.
Canelo Alvarez, the Mexican boxing icon, has expressed interest in facing Terrence Crawford, igniting excitement for what could be one of the most anticipated matchups in boxing. The fight would showcase two of the sport's finest, both at the peak of their careers, making it a thrilling prospect for fans.
Terrence Crawford, his name keeps coming up, and I know he's a lot smaller than you. Is that a fight that you would ever consider under any circumstance?
You know, I always say if the fight.
A potential fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford would be a monumental event in boxing. Canelo, the undisputed super middleweight champion, has ruled his division with power and precision, while Crawford, known for his technical mastery and strategic intelligence, has earned a top spot in the pound-for-pound rankings. The clash of these two contrasting styles would surely captivate the boxing world.
Terence Crawford, I see he wants to fight. He's made it clear. Do fights like that help your legacy, or do you feel like that's something that's not worth it to you?
Everything in my career, every fight make my legacy different and better. No, Terence Crawford is a great fighter. He's a good fighter, but you know.
Canelo Alvarez, the undisputed super middleweight champion, has expressed interest in facing Terence Crawford, despite the weight concerns surrounding Crawford moving up. Confident in his ability to dominate the smaller fighter, Canelo views the potential fight as a chance to make a bold statement in boxing. Speaking on Sway's Universe, Canelo made it clear that he's not only open to the challenge, but eager to take it on.
Said that he would be willing to pay whatever you want to fight Crawford.
Fine.
Yeah.
If he's willing to pay whatever I want, comes down.
That'll work. So if yeah, you're in. So if the numbers were right with Crawford, you'll do it.
Why not? Why not? Mm-hmm. I think Crawford, don't get me wrong, he's a great fighter. Mm-hmm. But for me, in my weight class, it's an easy fight. Mm-hmm. For me, easy money.
Canelo Alvarez's comments suggest that he believes the weight difference between him and Terence Crawford would provide him with a clear advantage. Having dominated as super middleweight, Canelo views the potential fight more as a financial opportunity than a major risk. However, fans and analysts argue that Crawford's exceptional skills and adaptability could make the fight more unpredictable than Canelo anticipates. While Canelo is open to facing Crawford, he acknowledges that Crawford's mobility and boxing style could pose challenges. Nevertheless, Canelo indicated that the fight could materialize if the financial terms align.
The money is right. I'm in, because you know I don't like to fight guys like Crawford because he move a lot and the fight is not that great. Mm-hmm. I saw Crawford the last fight and he don't move that much now. So if the money is right.
Canelo's comments reflect the complexity of making the fight with Crawford a reality. While he acknowledges Crawford's talent, Canelo is confident that his size and power will give him an edge over Crawford's skill. His emphasis on the financial aspect and the spectacle of the fight suggests that, for him, the bout would be more about the payday than the competitive challenge. This raises an interesting question. Can Crawford's technical prowess overcome the weight disparity, or is Canelo justified in relying on his natural advantages? This shift in Canelo's perspective is significant, as he had previously been hesitant to fight Crawford, believing that beating a smaller opponent wouldn't bring him much credit.
No, everybody wants to fight me. Everybody calling me out and everything. And you know, like I say, I have nothing to win with Crawford. 2-3 ways.
I respect Crawford. He's a great fighter, and I always say that. No disrespect him, but you know, sometimes it's a little crazy that people talking about a small fighter like Charlo. He's big, which he is big, and everybody's talking about if I'm gonna face Crawford, fighter 147, who is smaller than Charlo. So no make sense when you guys say that right now. At the end of the day, I don't want to have credit to face Crawford, but you know, you never know. You never know in boxing. I'll go up and down and fight everybody out there. So it's possible. Why not? It's possible.
And I can't go down anymore. But you know, like he say, you know, when they ask him for the Germonta fight, they don't wanna get credit for that fight. It's the same for me. I don't need to take that fight because then everybody's gonna say it's too small, and then, you know, he needs to enjoy his fight.
Crawford's determination to face Canelo, even if it means moving up to weight classes, underscores his belief in his abilities and his desire to solidify his legacy as one of the sport's greatest. His willingness to take on such a significant challenge highlights his confidence in his skill set. showing that he is willing to prove himself as the dominant force, no matter the obstacles or weight disparity.
If Canelo gets through Jermell and then you guys fight, that fight would be gigantic.
And it's crazy because, like, in the past interviews, I was like, man, Canelo too big, man. It's weight classes for a reason. I was like, nah. But in my mind, in my heart, I don't think nobody too big, you know, especially in a fight. I'm a fighter. But, like, I was thinking, like, man, it could happen. So you start really sitting down like, man, that fight maybe can happen. Okay, so now you start.
Crawford is fully aware of the physical disadvantage he'll face against Canelo, particularly the size and strength differences. However, he remains confident that his technical skills, adaptability, and strategic approach will enable him to overcome these challenges. Crawford believes that his boxing IQ and ability to adjust during a fight could be the key to neutralizing Canelo's power and securing victory.
He bigger than me, but I'm faster. You know, so then you start doing the advantages. You know what I mean? Like, man, we right there.
Yeah.
We right there, you know what I mean? So I was like, man.
And it's not. Keith Thurman, a former world champion and respected boxing analyst, recently shared his thoughts on why Crawford might find weaknesses in Canelo Alvarez. He pointed to Canelo's performance against Jermell Charlo, where Canelo displayed some vulnerabilities that could be exploited. Thurman believes that Crawford's exceptional strategic mindset and ability to read patterns during a fight could provide him with opportunities to capitalize on any openings in Canelo's defense or tactics. With his adaptability and precise counterpunching, Crawford could potentially outsmart Canelo even in the face of significant physical disadvantage.
You know, when Canelo fought Charlo, besides the knockdown, Charlo was able to protect himself very well against Canelo's onslaught. The only problem was, while protecting himself,
Thurman pointed out that after Charlo was knocked down, he made defensive adjustments but failed to launch effective counterattacks, which allowed Canelo to stay in control. He believes Crawford's ability to adapt and think strategically could give him an advantage. Thurman suggests that Crawford could use a mix of strong defense and offensive creativity to exploit any openings in Canelo's game. By staying aggressive while remaining defensively sound, Crawford could potentially capitalize on moments where Canelo leaves himself vulnerable, offering a path to success despite the size disparity.
and I believe, seeing what I saw, I believe Crawford saw the same thing. If Charlo can go so untouched by just being, once he got dropped, spider senses, boom, fully awakened, right? Boom. So now hands up, don't make no mistakes. So, that's how it is. We saw it in the Munguia fight, we saw it in the last fight. It's those little mistakes that end up having big consequences against Canelo.
Thurman's analysis implies that Crawford could use his boxing intelligence to find openings in Canelo's offense, much like Charlo tried to do, but with more offensive strategy. By combining solid defense with calculated attacks, Crawford might neutralize Canelo's power while also creating chances to score. However, Thurman also warns that Crawford must be cautious, as Canelo's power is dangerous, and even a small mistake could dramatically shift the fight in Canelo's favor.
Crawford is trash. Don't ever compare Crawford to Canelo again. Shout out young Triple G. He did his I felt he won. At least a draw. The judges, you weirdos, you guys suck ass. And Crawford, you're not pound for pound. You never fought nobody good. You fought Spence that had a car accident. You.
Stephen A. Smith offered a balanced breakdown of the potential fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, acknowledging both fighters' unique strengths. He highlighted Crawford's technical skill, which could trouble Canelo, but also pointed out that Canelo's power and physicality might be difficult for Crawford to overcome. Smith emphasized that the clash of these contrasting styles would be crucial in determining the fight's outcome, and he warned that while Crawford's boxing ability could pose a serious challenge, Canelo's strength could neutralize that advantage.
If Canelo catches him, it could be trouble. But I would still say it would be a very interesting fight. I just believe that Crawford hasn't been in the ring with anybody this powerful. And I'm wondering whether he could stay away. Crawford is the superior boxer. But if he can't hurt Canelo, he can't keep him off of him. And that's where the problem lies.
What do you think a win like that would do for Crawford? Would that put him
I think it was
Robinson, Mayweather?
He and I spoke about it. He and I spoke about it in Vegas when
Stephen A. Smith's analysis underscores the critical dynamics that could shape a fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. While he admires Crawford's technical skill, Smith points out that without the power to counterbalance Canelo's strength, Crawford could struggle to withstand the Mexican champion's relentless pressure. Smith emphasized Canelo's aggressive approach and his ability to control the tempo of the fight, noting that a single powerful shot could potentially shift the momentum in Canelo's favor, making it a dangerous encounter for Crawford.
Canelo is a very powerful individual who can get exposed by a boxer because every shot he throws, he's trying to make it a power shot. But to me, can Crawford hurt him? I would pick Crawford to win if he can box and stay away. I don't believe he can hurt Canelo. And if Canelo catches him, it could be trouble. But I would still say it would be a very interesting fight. I just believe that Crawford hasn't been in the ring with anybody this powerful. And
Alexis Roach's perspective adds another layer to the ongoing debate about a potential Canelo versus Crawford showdown. Having shared the ring with both fighters, Rocha offers a unique insight into their respective skill sets. While he acknowledges the size and physicality advantage Canelo holds, he also emphasizes Crawford's exceptional boxing technique and ability to adapt. Rocha's analysis underscores the contrasting styles that would make this potential fight so intriguing. While Canelo's power and experience are formidable, Crawford's tactical brilliance could pose a significant challenge. This further fuels the excitement for a fight that could become a classic in boxing history.
That's my opinion. Terence Crawford, yes, there is weight classes for a reason. Canelo is a lot bigger. Crawford has that. He also has a good size to him where he has that good size and he has that reach and he has that boxing IQ. That's the most important thing when it comes to a boxing game is the IQ. You know, I think Crawford will hold his own very good in that fight. But I will lean a little bit more towards Canelo given the fact that he's more experienced and he's been in there with bigger guys.
Rocha's analysis aligns with many experts who believe that Canelo's physical advantages could prove to be too much for Crawford. Even though Crawford is known for his exceptional boxing intelligence, Rocha's insights add weight to the idea that Canelo's size, strength, and experience could give him the upper hand. As for Canelo, despite not yet confirming his opponent for 2025, Crawford remains a strong possibility. Crawford has made it clear that he is eager for the challenge, but he is still waiting for an official response from Canelo's camp. The anticipation is growing, and the matchup between these two elite fighters continues to captivate the boxing world.
Are you serious about fighting Canelo Alvarez?
Of course.
I know you're serious, but I've got to ask you for the people that are watching.
Of course.
Are you confident that that fight is a fight that you can win?
Well, I'm always confident that I can win any fight that I step foot in the ring. You know, Canelo is a big, strong competitor. He's a great fighter. He's a future Hall of Famer. And that's what we in the game for, is to leave a legacy that will last, surpass our lifetime.
FTV Boxing has reported that Terence Crawford is being considered as one of Canelo Alvarez's top choices for his return to the ring in May. Although the date and venue, possibly the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, are still unconfirmed. Meanwhile, Sean Porter, a former welterweight champion who has sparred with Crawford, has raised concerns about the potential size and power difference in a fight against Canelo. While Porter respects Crawford's boxing ability, he warns that the physical advantages Canelo holds could be a significant challenge for Crawford, making this a risky move.
The others say, like, no, that's 2 more weight classes. Like, once he gets touched by Canelo, it's going to be different.
I am concerned about him absorbing a Canelo punch, especially through the course of 12 rounds. We do know this about Canelo. He's going to slow down, you know, so I think if anything, Canelo would try to start fast and bang on him and break him down before he gets later. And he's still got that kind of steam. But, you know, there's so many components that make a champion. There's so many components that make a great, a legend. It's just so much to go into. It's a conversation that lasts an hour easily when we talk about all of the components that Terrence Crawford has, all of the components that Canelo have, and how we find how they even out and who trumps one another. You know what I mean? We tried to do that with Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford, and we see how that panned out. You know what I mean? So
Sean Porter's warning highlights the significant physical challenge Terrence Crawford would face against Canelo Alvarez, whose power in higher weight classes could be overwhelming, while Crawford's skills and adaptability are highly respected. Porter's caution underscores the potential danger of facing a much larger opponent. This continues the debate about whether Crawford's technical mastery can overcome the size and strength advantage Canelo holds. Meanwhile, trainer Robert Garcia has teased the possibility of a fight between Crawford and Canelo, and rumors suggest that Crawford is on Canelo's shortlist for a Cinco de Mayo showdown in May 2025. While the fight is not yet confirmed, the buzz around a potential Las Vegas matchup is growing.
Well, I don't know if we'll get it, Terrence Crawford. I think Crawford is looking at, just a huge fight with Canelo, and if he doesn't get it, he might not even fight anymore, because he's told me that before. But there's so many other fights out there too. We'll just take it fight by fight with.
Virgil Talisa recently mentioned that the fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terrence Crawford might be moved to June, as it could be a more suitable time for the matchup. While no official confirmation has been made, May is traditionally a prime month for Canelo's fights in the U.S., given its importance for pay-per-view sales. However, Crawford is not the only potential opponent for Canelo. In his upcoming super middleweight title defense, Christian Billy, the WBC's top contender in the 168-pound division, is also considered a strong option, although the WBC has not yet made him a mandatory challenger for Canelo's belt.
I know with the Benavidez question, you get asked this all the time. I almost hate asking you, but if someone's willing to put up the $250 million,
I mean,
would you negotiate down?
No less than 200.
No less than 200.
If Canelo Alvarez is offered a massive $200 million, he might be tempted to face David Benavidez, a fight that is highly anticipated by boxing fans. Dimitri Bivol also remains a potential opponent for a rematch. While Bivol has expressed willingness to face Canelo again, he has stated that it's not his immediate priority, as he has other objectives to focus on for now. The situation surrounding Canelo's next opponent is still fluid, with several exciting matchups possibly in the works.
Other than Crawford, what will make sense? There's some names out there. Benavidez, but we know that's not going to happen.
A potential fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terrence Crawford, particularly if held in the U.S., is generating massive excitement and could break the 1 million pay-per-view sales mark, making it a huge financial event. Crawford's pay-per-view success, notably selling 700,000 homes for his win over Errol Spence Jr., demonstrates his drawing power. However, Canelo's pay-per-view history is even more impressive, with 16 bouts and 11.6 million homes sold, cementing his status as a pay-per-view superstar. This fight would be an exciting clash of the modern-day greats. Crawford, a 4-weight champion, would face Canelo, the undisputed super middleweight champion. While at a significant weight disadvantage, Crawford has stated he's willing to fight at 168 pounds. But that could be a tough challenge. Crawford is 37, and while he hasn't shown signs of slowing down, age could catch up. Meanwhile, Canelo, at 34, might have slowed slightly, potentially giving Crawford an opportunity to outbox him. If the fight happens on May 3rd, it would be one of the most anticipated bouts in boxing, pitting skill against power and size against technique. The world will be watching as these two fighters aim to prove their dominance, with high stakes for both. Whether Crawford's technical brilliance can overcome Canelo's physical advantages, or if Canelo's power and size will prove too much, remains a fascinating question for fans and analysts alike.